As you can see, the tank is gorgeous and it follows the body's lines. All right, so I have the car in sport mode and sport trans.
Perfect.
If you're new here, welcome to the AutoLuz YouTube channel. If you're already a channel family member, then what's swinging, gang? Today, we are putting the very first performance/reliability mod on Olivia. As you can see, she's right there with the hood pop, so you know it's game time. But before I show you exactly what we're gonna put on her and actually test it with before and afters, I want to show you guys the update on my soon-to-be world record BMW X6M. And if you don't know her name, she's gorgeous and her name is Sasha. So here's some cell phone footage of the update that I took. I left the camera at home, but I swooped in low-key, got a couple of little videos, talked about a couple of little things, but here's the video. So this is some cell phone footage because I forgot the phone, I meant the camera, but as you can see, the tank is gorgeous and it follows the body's lines like perfectly, so let me show you this here. Get this out of the way. We went up under the headlight. We could have got a little bit further into the headlight area, but I don't want to get it opened back up just to bring it back forward, and it's right at, the budget I wanted to spend, so I'm gonna keep it just like this. But everything together, it's about 2.8 gallons with everything together, fluid capacity, and that should be perfect for what I needed, almost 3 gallons. And since the tank in the rear does sit a little higher, we're gonna use a 90-degree fill bong to plug that in, and it's gonna fill directly to the highest part of the tank, to push any air out. And this little fill tank here up front is gonna be lifted on stilts, so it comes up as high as it can go, in this area here. So when we fill it, it's higher than the actual tank. The fill tank is actually higher than the reservoir tank. Okay, as you can see, Sasha is coming together perfectly. I'm very excited. The inner chiller tank is gorgeous, the work is gorgeous, those guys did their thing over there. But today we're talking about here it is. Took me a while to find it, but today we're talking about, boom, this right here. And what this is the oil cooler valve, and I'm explaining it to you what it does before I put it in. So for you guys that have a oil cooler up front, which sits down here on this side on this car, it's actually a thermostat inside this little door here that holds on by 2 screws here, one here and one down here up under this oil line. And what this does is, instead of waiting on the oil to reach a certain temperature for the door to open, man, it's very windy, so excuse the wind, guys, it's very windy today. So instead of the thermostat waiting for the oil to reach a certain temperature to open, this lets it slightly bypass 100% of the time. And the reason why I went with the ECS version, which is I think the same as the FTP, I'm sure it's not built in the same place, but they look exactly the same, is because this one is a little more restrictive than the BMS version, this version here, that I could have went with, because this is a daily driver. I daily this car, so it's no reason for me to have balls out race parts on it. And I live in Florida. It's hot in Florida 98% of the year. So like right now it's getting even hotter, so typically without this my oil temps, you know, driving around town and stuff, you know, stop and go weather, they looked around like this here. So I'm going to get this installed with a nice oil change, you know, because I changed my oil early. You know, if you got a BMW, you live in hot climates, you know, use 5W40 oil and do as many cooling mods to your BMW as possible. If you want this engine not to leak coolant, not to leak oil, take pressure off of the engine, you know, and make it, you know, extend the reliability and the life of the engine. You know, mods like this will definitely help, even if you're not tracking or racing the car. You know, you want to keep this engine healthy. So if you own a F01 or F02 with the N55 or 640 or 540 with the front mount oil cooler, just know you're gonna go through hell to get this thermostat out because everything blocks it. First, you have to remove this top oil line because you can't remove this bolt without removing the top oil line because this bolt blocks the door that has access to these two door torque 30s. So I mean, it's it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle just to get this thermostat out. It's crazy, but let me pop it on out to show you the difference between the two. Okay, for some reason on this part the camera recorded but didn't record any audio, but the piece I'm holding now is the ECS tuning part. You know, this the cooler valve comes in 3 different parts: the spring, a little metal piece that slides in the spring, and then the long piece that you're pretty much familiar with, like from Berger Motorsports. And that's the factory one on top, you know, with the door that closes over top of the spring. But when you put the ECS tuning spring in, it's gonna go in the reverse order that the factory spring came out. And also you can do this mod without changing the oil, so the oil doesn't have to be changed to do this mod. You know, you can change the thermostat and the oil filter housing with the car full of oil. Just make sure that you give the car time to, you know, get the oil to drain back down to the oil pan before you do any mods like this. But yeah, guys, sorry that, you know, I lost the audio, so I had to do this voiceover, and I hate doing voiceovers. I mean, but hey, this what they look like. Okay, and then to complete this oil change, you want to turn the ignition on, not the car. You want to hold this button here, and then you see oil change reset possible, 4,900 miles. Because yes, I do change all my oil very, very early. Well, this isn't very early, but it's a lot earlier than most people change it. You know, you want to save the life of the engine. You know, don't, you know, keep, I mean, look, it's 11,000 mile intervals. That's the last thing you want to do, is change your oil every 11,000 miles. I was using the car for a while, so the engine should still be hot, so it's going to heat up the new oil a little faster than most. So it's not like a from in the morning how long it's going to take to reach temperature, but you will get a good idea of the maximum temperature it reaches, you know, heavy throttle and stuff like that. So let's get on the road. Okay, so I've been doing a little spirited driving, and so far it hasn't gone over 97 degrees Celsius. You know, and when I just cruise and let wind blow through the, you know, front mount oil cooler, it sits around 94 degrees Celsius, when it usually right now, what you see is going up to 95 because I'm speeding up a little. But usually right now it'll be, and it dropped back down to 94. Usually right now, you know, I mean, it'll be at 113, 112, 113. So, I mean, it's definitely doing its job. So I can't wait to see what these full throttle, you know, full throttle pulls does when I get up here to the highway. All right, so I have the car in sport mode and sport transmission to really like give it a good go, you know. And right now it's already showing signs of sport mode. I mean, it shot from 97 to 98 already. So let's see if we can get it to climb and how long it's gonna take to come back down. Let's see. Okay, so that was a real heavy pull there, you know, for about 3 gears, and it's still only 97 degrees Celsius. Now it's at 99, and it's back at 98. So it's definitely doing its job so far. You know, I'm gonna get on it one more time and see if I can get it to go past where it is. And I mean, I'm in Mexico doing 104, so, and it's still at 96. And regular ride around town temp used to be 113. So I would call this a great mod. Definitely. I would definitely call this a great mod. That's crazy. And now it's at 98. Man, you talking about good cool oil. And the temperature outside, you can see right here on the dash too, it's 89 degrees Fahrenheit, and my oil temp is only at 97 degrees Celsius. Oh man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so I wanted to try another test, and that's just sitting in place as long as I could to see what the maximum temp would reach. And as you can see, it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and the oil temp is currently at 103, and it's bouncing between 103 and 102. So, I mean, that's crazy. I'm sure if I go out and smash on it now, it might jump up to like 105, maybe 104, but I guarantee you this thing will never touch, you know, 120 degrees, 120 degrees Celsius, 118 degrees Celsius again, you know. And let me flip this camera around to show you why that's a great thing. You guys don't, I mean, some of you do, but most of you don't know how important low engine oil temps, still operating temp though, not under operating, but you just don't know how detrimental that is to the engine's health and longevity. Low, you know, at the lower spectrum of operating temp on the oil and on the coolant, that will let this engine last miles and miles, and I mean, turn it into a Toyota, you know. And that's almost blasphemy even speaking, you know, because everybody knows how long Toyotas and or even the Cummins diesel, you know. I'm not even gonna go that far. I just stick with Toyota. Turn your BMW into Toyota mileage, man. I mean, that's crazy.
A few moments later.
So we back. It was a good little ride. Hold on, let me center this camera. All right, it was a good ride. You know, I'm gonna, instead of telling you all the temps, you know, I'm gonna just pop them right here. These were the maximum temps Celsius, you know, not Fahrenheit. So you can do your own math or calculations. Those are the Celsius max temps for those situations. And the car actually felt very, very good. You know, I know it has a fresh oil change, but even, you know, in stop and go traffic, everything was like super smooth. You know, the car picked up immediately. I mean, you can tell that those lower oil temps is definitely working better in that engine, man. You know, and I mean, in my book, that's a go. So if you want to do that mod, I'll have the link down in the description for the ECS tuning oil cooler valve. You know, I mean, that's the one that I recommend, you know, because it works perfectly. I'm sure the Burger Motorsports ones work a little better. So if you track or drag race your car, you probably be better off going in that direction. I mean, but going from the temperatures that I was at now, you know, it'll barely leave 105. I mean, and that's sitting idling, you know, idling in 88 plus degree weather in Florida. You know, sitting in the parking lot idling in the brutal sun is 105. I mean, that's crazy. And I was riding around, you know, on the highway, you know, full wind in the grill, you know, at 114, 113. So, you know, I mean, this is a lot better in my opinion. So, you know, I'm glad we got a big update on Sasha. Her 3.5 inch exhaust and custom resonator box / X pipe. That this stuff is all custom, all world's first. Should be getting done, you know, here in the next couple of days, you know, since the tank is done. And I'm gonna plumb that stuff up myself, and then we can go ahead and pour the motor to get these rods and pistons and Cometic head gaskets and a lot of other stuff put inside the engine. So, you know, I definitely can't wait for that stuff. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. And Auto Lust out.